Welcome, distinguished guests, to the State of the Court 2025. The inaugural address by presiding judge, Sergio C. Tapia II. At this time, please join in welcoming judicial officers of the Superior Court of Los Angeles County. And now, please welcome the Executive Officer Clerk of Court of the Superior Court of Los Angeles County, Mr. David W. Slayton. And now, please welcome the Assistant Presiding Judge of the Superior Court, Los Angeles County, Judge Ricardo R. Ocampo. You may be seated.
Serving a population of over 10 million residents, greater than that of 40 individual U.S. states, our jurisdiction spans an impressive 4,000 square miles. With 582 authorized judicial officers and more than 4,600 dedicated court staff, our court processed 1.2 million filings, summoned 2.4 million jurors, and conducted 2,407 jury trials last year alone. From Long Beach to Lancaster and Malibu to Pomona, we are committed to ensuring access to justice for every community we serve. In the diverse communities of Los Angeles County, presiding Judge Sergio C. Tapia II stands as a symbol of perseverance, empathy, and courageous leadership. Born in Hawthorne and raised in Bell Gardens, California, Judge Tapia's journey began in a close-knit, working-class Mexican-American family. His humble roots instilled a deep sense of community and an unwavering dedication to fairness and equity, a commitment that guides his work as the county's highest judicial officer.
It's amazing what we can learn from our children if we pay attention. He was the first one in the family to attend college. At the same time, I believe he encouraged the rest of the extended family to do the same. Many attended different universities, and I believe he was the trailblazer.
After beginning his career as a public interest attorney, presiding Judge Tapia spent the next 17 years serving as a public defender, dedicating himself to upholding the fundamental principle that every person is innocent until proven guilty. For years, he stood alongside individuals during some of their most challenging moments, embodying compassionate justice and reinforcing the belief that while accountability is essential, a single mistake should not solely define a person's worth. Judge Tapia's life experiences shaped his deep understanding of the challenges faced by many Angelenos, fostering his unwavering empathy for those who appear before the court. It is no surprise that his dedication, compassion, and perspective led him to make history as the first career public defender ever elected as presiding judge of the Superior Court of Los Angeles County, the largest unified trial court in the nation.
We first met as students at UC Berkeley, and it was at that time that I first experienced his deep commitment to empowering disenfranchised communities through his student activism at UC Berkeley. Throughout the years when he was employed as a public defender, he represented people from all walks of life, people from different communities that had endured different hardships throughout their lives. He always saw them as people, and people who deserved a right to representation, a right to justice.
His historic election is a testament to his peers' trust and respect. Presiding Judge Tapia is also the first presiding judge of Latino heritage elected by the judges of the Consolidated Superior Court since trial court unification a quarter century ago. This milestone resonates deeply in a county as diverse as Los Angeles.
From a young age, my dad instilled in my sister and I a strong sense of community. He wanted us to connect with our beginnings, from our grandparents and our great-grandparents coming from Mexico. Growing up, my parents were both defense attorneys, and one of the principles they instilled in me was that regardless of who is accused of a crime, regardless of anyone's background, of anyone's social class, everyone is entitled to justice in the same way that anyone else in this country is.
Under Judge Tapia's leadership as assistant presiding judge, alongside former presiding judge Samantha Jessner, the court has made great strides in improving access to justice.
I remember growing up and hearing about his days as a public defender. You know, I was always curious as a kid, and so was my brother. What was it about being a public defender that was fulfilling for him? And he believed that everyone should have an equal opportunity. I see the work that he's doing now only as an extension of what his beliefs have always been. He's always believed in uplifting people that can use his voice. You know, he's always been an advocate for people.
Presiding Judge Tapia's vision for the court is rooted in rebuilding trust and confidence in the judiciary. He knows that for the judicial system to thrive, it must be transparent, accountable, and approachable. He has pledged to ensure that the court reflects the community it serves and remains steadfast in its mission to provide fair and meaningful access to justice.
Under the leadership of Judge Tapia and his forward thinking, we are actually feeling the benefits of seeing families reunified. children empowered and finding voice, and really being able to intentionally look at how we serve our families. Sergio is a product of the local schools and was raised in our communities, just like all of us. Kids always tell our judges, you know, seeing a judge that looked like me or that I can identify with truly makes a difference, not only for the kids that come before us here, but the parents and the lawyers and all of the litigants. It truly makes a difference.
As the presiding judge of the largest consolidated trial court in the nation, Judge Tapia seizes an opportunity to lead by example, to build trust, inspire progress, and uphold the ideals of democracy. His unique journey to his new role is a reminder that justice is not just a principle, it's a promise, one that presiding Judge Sergio Tapia is determined to keep. Judge Sergio Tapia II, a trailblazer, a leader, and a committed advocate for justice. And now, without further ado, please welcome the presiding judge of the Superior Court of Los Angeles County, Judge Sergio C. Tapia II.
Court of Los Angeles County, presiding judge Sergio C. Tapia II.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you once again. To our distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, dear friends and family gathered here, as well as those joining us remotely, we are grateful for your presence today. It is an honor to deliver my first public address as the new presiding judge of the Superior Court of Los Angeles County. I wish to begin at the foundation of all meaningful beginnings with gratitude. I am thankful to be joined today by my lovely wife, Judge Rosa Fregoso, my daughter, Itzel Tapia Fregoso, my son who is watching remotely, Mayel Tapia Fregoso, as well as my father and my beloved family, my sister Beatriz and her husband Alejandro. I also wish to thank the elected officials, their representatives, directors of government agencies, justice partners, and justices from California's appellate district courts and the Los Angeles County's remarkable judicial officers and staff. It is truly the greatest honor of my career to lead the largest trial court in the nation and the privilege of a lifetime to serve as the first Latino presiding judge elected by my colleagues since unification in 2000. And it is equally humbling to be the first career public defender to hold this role. I'm also deeply honored to share this journey with my friend and colleague, Assistant Presiding Judge Ricardo R. Ocampo, who we should note also made history as the court's first Asian American Assistant Presiding Judge. Together, we are privileged to work alongside our court's visionary Executive Officer and Clerk of Court, David W. Slayton, whose leadership continues to guide and inspire us all. Thank you, David. Finally, I want to express not only my deep gratitude, but genuine astonishment for the unwavering dedication of the more than 5,000 staff and judicial officers of the Superior Court of Los Angeles County. Earlier this month, in the midst of one of the most devastating natural disasters in Los Angeles history, they leaned into our mission to provide access to justice and recognized that one unfolding emergency did not erase the countless others still demanding action. As smoke engulfed our communities from every direction, our judicial officers and employees ensured that courthouse doors remained open even as some of their colleagues evacuated homes that no longer stood when they returned. Heartbroken clerks donned N95 masks, while assistants and analysts, some working remotely without power, relied on candlelight to ensure court operations continued without interruption. That goes far beyond public service. It speaks to the profound humanity required to deliver access to justice to 10 million frightened residents. Like many Angelenos, our court family was not spared. More than 25 of our own judicial officers and court staff lost their homes, and our hearts break for them. Truly, there is nothing quite like our court staff and judicial officers, and as they recover from this tragedy, we will stand with them. What a true joy it is to look around this room and see a tapestry of life stories, each story a thread in our democracy, weaving experiences into a fabric of shared purpose, resilience, and collective progress. Every person here plays a vital role in our justice system, not just through your job titles, but through your actions and ideas. My goal with this address is to emphasize how invaluable your contributions are, not just to the future of our court, but to trial courts across our great state. Let me start with a little bit of history. 175 years ago, what we now call the Los Angeles Courthouse was simply the adobe home of a Mexican rancher, Agustin Olvera. He came to Los Angeles not long after battling Americans for control of California, yet distinguished himself enough to negotiate peace with American forces and be elected Los Angeles County's first judge. Judge Olvera relied on a bilingual sheriff to translate the proceedings from Spanish because he didn't speak English when he first took the bench. But in the true spirit of justice, he hung a simple sign outside of his home that simply read, "Courthouse." It was a humble beginning, but one that marked the Superior Court of Los Angeles County's commitment to providing access to justice, a commitment that demands flexibility, adaptability, and a deeper understanding of that access, which every generation must rediscover. My friends, to truly serve the people's need, we must be willing to meet them where they are. The state of our court is stronger than ever following the tenure of our former presiding judge and my dear friend, Samantha P. Jessner. And she, of course, is with us today, and I want to share with you that Judge Jessner taught me that true leaders lead with compassion, integrity, and a clarity of purpose. During my 2 years as the court's assistant presiding judge, she opened my eyes to the unique responsibility the Superior Court of Los Angeles County carries as a leader, owing to its unparalleled size and scale. The first woman of color to lead this court, Judge Jessner showed all of us that the pursuit of justice must always take precedence over the sway of public opinion, a principle she upheld with unwavering integrity. Thank you, Judge Jessner. As members of the judiciary, we will face blind spots, sometimes gaps between what we think we knew and the reality on the ground. This is where the hard work must be done. This is where leaders in the judiciary at every level must work together to adapt, innovate, and bridge those information divides. Today, I am honored to share my vision for a court that embodies this spirit, a court that stands as a pillar of our democracy, steadfast in the mission to build respect and public trust by operating impartially, transparently, and equitably, a court propelled by modernization, informed by on-the-ground realities, and ready to confront today's unique challenges because it has done the hard work to understand them. A court that truly serves the more than 10 million residents spanning 88 cities, more than 120 unincorporated areas, and 4,700 square miles of Los Angeles County, a court that truly meets people where they are. As the presiding judge of the Superior Court of Los Angeles County, I am committed to advancing the remarkable innovations made in recent years by this court, not least of which are its strides in pre-arraignment bail reform. Constitutionally, bail is intended to ensure future court appearances and mitigate risks to public and victim safety. Yet in California, bail is often misconstrued as punishment, represented by arbitrary dollar amounts tied to specific crimes. In October 2023, our court implemented new bail schedules that marked a fundamental shift toward a non-monetary conditions for pre-arraignment release in cases involving non-violent, non-serious felonies and misdemeanors. Known as the Pre-Arraignment Release Protocol, or PARP, this innovative system ensures that decisions about pre-arraignment release are based on a person's risk to public or victim safety and their likelihood of appearing in court rather than financial resources. Despite the sky is falling rhetoric, lawsuits, and widespread hysteria from critics, PARP's first year has demonstrated clear success. We've released data and reports showing that the system improves public safety and is constitutionally sound. Yet a glaring irony persists. California's statutory law prohibits this proven safety-first system from being applied to the most high-risk individuals. Criminal offenses categorized as serious and violent, crimes such as murder, rape, and armed robbery, remain eligible for release on money bail. Under current law, these high-risk arrestees can simply buy their way out of jail. This simply defies logic and undermines public safety, and the law must change. Another area where our court has made significant progress in ensuring access to a verbatim record for all litigants, thereby safeguarding their appellate rights. For years, hundreds of thousands of cases in our court proceeded without a verbatim record of proceedings, making it nearly impossible for individuals, particularly those of limited means, to exercise their right to appeal. Our court has long sounded the alarm about this constitutional crisis, rooted in statutory restrictions and an ongoing chronic shortage of court reporters. Despite investing nearly $10 million annually on recruitment and retention programs, we continue to face a net loss of court reporters. When yet another legislative session ended without a statutory solution, our court took decisive action. We issued a general order authorizing judges to use their discretion to allow for electronic recording of proceedings when a court reporter is unavailable and fundamental rights are at stake. Today, we are proud to say that countless litigants of limited financial means now have a fighting chance to appeal their cases and exercise their full appellate rights. Consider, too, the court's expanded role in addressing Los Angeles County's severe mental health crisis by serving as a critical link connecting those with severe mental health needs to vital services like Care Court. This voluntary legal process, supported by our judges, assists individuals diagnosed with schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders in accessing treatment, services, and housing support. We launched this groundbreaking program an entire year ahead of schedule, and I want to extend my gratitude to the Care Court judges for their invaluable collaboration in making this effort a reality, and more importantly, our partners for their assistance in this endeavor, including the County Department of Mental Health, the Public Defender's Office, and the Independent Defense Counsel's Office. Thank you. Meeting people where they are requires as much compassion as innovation. Initiatives like the Community Outreach Court on Skid Row and the Homeless Court in Santa Monica, which we opened last year, exemplify our commitment to addressing the needs of our most vulnerable populations. These programs provide unhoused individuals with a dignified opportunity to resolve their legal matters, offering a pathway to stability without the indignities often associated with the traditional process. Even with all of these improvements, however, our court faces unique challenges in 2025, both within the courthouse walls and extending far beyond them. Meeting people where they are starts with earning and keeping their trust. Consider the scene in 1850 when Judge Agustin Olvera opened his home as Los Angeles' first courthouse. Despite the wounds of a recent and bloody conflict, people with little incentive for peaceful resolution came to him year after year. In doing so, Angelenos formed a pact that laid the groundwork for our judicial system, a foundation of justice built on mutual trust. In contrast, I am deeply concerned about the growing distrust and disconnect between the public and its judiciary. Recent studies show that the judiciary has traditionally enjoyed trust that the executive and legislative branches do not have, because the judiciary is independent and free from the politics of the other branches. However, polarization and skepticism are taking their toll. Rebuilding public trust requires active, ongoing efforts rooted in transparency, accessibility, and accountability. And as presiding judge, I am committed to reinforcing trust in our great institution. During my tenure, we will engage a nationally recognized pollster with publicly available results to better understand how we can best serve our large and diverse county well into the future. At the same time, we operate in an era of financial austerity. California's recent budget deficit resulted in a $97 million reduction in funding for trial courts statewide, nearly $30 million of those cuts fell on our court, which was already underfunded by $78 million. In response, we eliminated over 180 positions, including positions critical to courtroom operations. We offered a voluntary separation incentive program for court employees, reduced our infrastructure budget, and delayed much-needed repair projects for facilities that continue to age. Let's be clear. Underfunding a trial court of our size can have disastrous consequences, leading to crumbling infrastructure, outdated technology, and the constant threat of losing critical services. Ultimately, it forces us to shortchange litigants who desperately need the court to deliver on its mission to provide access to justice for all. Governor Newsom's partial restoration of just under half of last year's budget cuts was a welcome step in the right direction, and we are also hopeful for an additional $40 million statewide increase in trial court funding for the 2025-26 fiscal year. These investments signal an acknowledgement of the judiciary's vital role, and they are appreciated. But more must be done to educate the public and our co-equal branches of government about the pressing need to properly fund a strong judiciary. We are already a quarter of the way into the 21st century. Yet many of our courthouses are relics of the past, built in the middle of the last century, well over 50 years old, and structurally vulnerable. More than 4,000 people visit Stanley Mosque, this courthouse, every day. And yet it's one of California's top 5 most seismically at-risk buildings. We continue to work closely with the Judicial Council. That always comes as a shock to people. And everybody's trying to figure out, where do I duck and cover, right? The paranoia is so bad, I thought there was an earthquake this morning. But we continue to work closely with the Judicial Council, Department of Finance, and county partners to urge greater investment in court infrastructure, because we can ill afford another disaster of this magnitude in Los Angeles County. Let's work together to celebrate a ribbon-cutting of a modern, safe courthouse that meets the needs, the current needs and future needs of all Angelenos. The devastating ransomware attack we experienced last summer, which significantly disrupted court operations, underscored the need for strong infrastructure paired with robust security measures. More recently, we faced a potential tragedy involving an explosive device at our Torrance Courthouse. Fortunately, a vigilant court employee, Ms. Julie Bronow, who couldn't be here in person but is watching remotely from her workstation at the Torrance Courthouse, reported the suspicious package, enabling law enforcement to protect everyone in the building. And I want to commend Ms. Bronow for her swift action. Both of these incidents remind us of the critical importance of strengthening our court's physical and cybersecurity measures. I am grateful for the investments made by our Office of Public Safety and Office of Cybersecurity, but these efforts must continue to evolve as new threats emerge. I am equally committed to relieving the halls of justice of undue congestion. Caseload backlogs, particularly in unlimited civil cases, have surged, with filings rising more than 20% in just 1 year. This sharp increase has strained our resources and delayed case resolutions. To address this, we've assigned more judicial officers to civil dockets and temporarily utilized judicial officers from other disciplines to oversee civil cases. We also launched the Mediation Volunteer Panel, a program that offers free mediation for unlimited civil cases through partnerships with trained attorney mediators. Mediation reduces the time, cost, and stress of litigation while alleviating the burden on the court. However, the statutory limit on mandatory referrals to alternative dispute resolution has not been updated in over 30 years. Only civil cases where the amount in controversies between $35,000 and $50,000 qualify for mandatory referral to this service. While we remain hopeful that our strategies will assuage the enormous backlog of civil cases, the legislature must act to increase this monetary threshold to allow more litigants to benefit from mediation and help reduce the court's backlog. I am also mindful of challenges that we have, like rigid thinking, inaccessible systems, and barriers to entry that aren't just issues of perception. They are fundamental flaws that undermine the court's mission. We operate within a system that has too often relied on outdated practices, struggled to meet evolving needs, and fallen short in earning the full trust of those seeking justice. Today, I affirm that the Superior Court of Los Angeles County will confront these issues head on because it is doing the hard work to understand them. Through strategic initiatives, technological advances, and collaborative partnerships, we are redefining how modern justice is delivered. It is our responsibility to uphold our court's commitment to provide fair, timely, and equal access to justice for all. This statement is more than a guiding principle. It's a call to action. It demands bold innovation, radical transparency, and an unwavering focus. Let me share some key examples of this progress. One of the most promising examples of innovation is our Pathways pilot program for personal injury cases stemming from motor vehicle accidents. Launched to address the backlog of civil cases, this program is currently operating in our East and Northwest districts. It provides a transparent, predictable framework for litigation, including a firm trial date, defined milestones with realistic deadlines, clear expectations for discovery, and a built-in emphasis on alternative dispute resolution. By streamlining processes while maintaining a focus on individual justice, this program is an exciting step toward efficiency and fairness. This past summer, we introduced LA Court Connect 3.0, starting with probate courtrooms before expanding to family, traffic, and civil courtrooms across our county. This innovation offers same-day check-in for scheduled hearings and consolidates multiple hearings into one remote platform, easily accessible from devices in the hands of most Angelenos. The transition will soon expand to appellate, criminal, and juvenile courtrooms. Now, we are actively crafting evidence-based solutions to reduce barriers to justice. We are doing this through a partnership with Stanford Law's Deborah L. Rohde Center on the Legal Profession and Legal Design Lab, as well as researchers at the RAND Corporation and UCLA. This groundbreaking partnership is focusing on self-represented litigants in eviction cases and will soon lead to innovations like improved eviction courtesy notices, text reminders of deadlines and hearings, and better access to resources. I am also committed to convening a roundtable of county, city, and other partners to explore how together we can make other improvements to address the eviction crisis. My friends, transparency is vital to maintaining trust. To advance this vision, our court launched a strategic planning initiative this month to identify areas for improvement and channel our resources into meaningful progress. We expect to publish the plan by mid-year. Additionally, we've launched public dashboards that provide real-time data on arrest and release outcomes, proceedings impacted by the court-reported shortage, and more. Later this year, we will introduce live data that tracks evictions across the county and a centralized data hub on our website offering near real-time insights into court operations. These efforts reflect our belief that public accountability starts with transparency. The pandemic revealed the inefficiencies in our system, but also sparked transformation. Today, initiatives like electronic case management and remote hearings have become permanent tools for improving access and outcomes. In fact, the #1 complaint court users in the aftermath of last summer's ransomware attack was the unavailability of remote proceedings. Limited transportation, childcare responsibilities, and work obligations are barriers to justice that should never get in the way of operations for a modern court. Not only will we expand remote offerings, but we will bring court services into communities. But we will need the legislature and the governor's help to ensure that remote court appearances remain an option for litigants, since they are currently authorized by the legislature only through the end of 2026. We will continue to press the legislature and the governor to make remote appearance options available to all litigants if they choose to use them. We've also implemented a new case management system in our criminal division, with criminal e-filing and mandatory electronic search warrant system launching soon. We are piloting an electronic evidence platform enabling litigants to upload exhibits from home or work instead of transporting cumbersome physical materials to court. In addition, we're designing a new user-centric website with AI-driven tools to help the public navigate court services more easily. These advancements balance technological innovation with a people-first approach to justice. Engaging with the communities we serve is critical to building tangible support for the judiciary. Through courthouse tours, town halls, and strategic partnerships with legislators and local leaders, we ensure that our challenges and successes are understood. This year, we're taking that connection even further with the launch of a community engagement mobile unit. This traveling resource will bring judges and court staff to public spaces like libraries and community events, providing direct access to services and information while educating the public about their court. In closing, my friends, the state of our court is strong, and I am confident in its future, but let me be very clear. Stagnation is our greatest threat. If we, as a court, fail to be nimble, adaptable, and forward-thinking, we risk falling behind at a time when history demands bold and decisive action. Imagining the future is only the beginning, but it is not enough to brainstorm solutions. We must take action to implement them. Together, we will safeguard our facilities, modernize the court experience, and truly meet people where they are. Now, my friends, is the time to act. And I hope everyone here today and those watching remotely are as ready as we are to embrace these challenges head on and shape the future of justice. Thank you.